fans, welcome to card class. All right, so this week we're going to make some fun cards. We're going to start out with this fun one. This is using my art. I have my 12 by 12 sheets with 12 by 12 watercolor sheets with all of my art on them, and they're pretty fun. The sheets are printed on solar white, which is a type of watercolor paper. It's also really great for coloring on markers or using watercolors. But what I've done today is I've actually just colored with a metallic watercolor set, and then in the very center you'll see this kind of metallic, kind of raised up area here. And that is actually using the Nuvo glitter drops, which is not as glittery as Stickles, but still kind of a little bit raised up, and it's kind of fun. So I know that it's no one's real favorite thing to do, but we're going to do fussy cutting. All right, here we go. And I know that you guys are probably not thrilled to do the fussy cutting part, but we're going to just go ahead and we're just going to get it over with. All right, here we go. So when I'm cutting these out, I am actually cutting them out really close to that black edge. You probably noticed I did not stay inside the lines when I watercolored these little florals. And the reason why is because I knew I was going to be fussy cutting these out. And in case you are not familiar with the term fussy cutting, that just means to cut out. And so when I was younger, I used to love fussy cutting. I used to think it was just really relaxing. As an adult, I would say I don't enjoy it as much, but it's not bad. It's not the worst thing in the world. And you know, it can be kind of relaxing. Actually, I was talking with some people recently, and I was like, you know, I don't know about you guys, but when I kind of come up with a card design, I just get it done as fast as possible because I'm like, oh, I have an idea. I want to just execute that as quickly as possible. I'm pretty goal oriented in that way. I just like to get stuff, you know, right. I wanted to just do it once I have that idea. And I was talking to some other people, and I was like, well, why do you guys make cards? And they were like, oh, I like to do it because it's so relaxing. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Because again, when I tend to make cards, I tend to just go quickly because I'm like, oh, yep, these are the cards. We're going to go ahead and get that done. So it's just kind of interesting to, you know, hear how why other people like card making. Someone else said that they like it because, you know, it kind of like gets their mind off other stuff kind of going on, and they can focus on just creating, which I, you know, also think that that's really, you know, very, very important. I also love to focus on creating, but usually I come up with my ideas and then I just want to create that, like I said, as fast as possible. So that being said, if you're ever watching my videos and you're like, Ellie, you're going too quickly, just know that one, I'm probably heavily caffeinated, and two, it's just because I'm excited to share the final card design with you. So now you know a little bit of that information. All right, so we are fussy cutting. I'm going around all these little edges. I don't know if you saw my last little floral that I cut out there, but when I went down, see how this one has all of these little edges that are kind of connected? I actually cut down to the center there so that the petals could be separate. And so that way, so when we go to make our card, we can actually fold that up to give it some dimension on our card. So in case you were wondering about that, that's what I ended up doing. So my paper design, the 12 by 12 sheet, it has, I want to say, I think it's 4 rows, it might be 5 rows of, and every single flower, which there are 5 of them, are all different. And so every person here, every kit that I created, does have one of each of the flowers. So you're not going to get repeats in any way. These are all 5 different. And I watercolored them. Well, obviously I told you I watercolored them quite quickly. This is what I was talking about, P.S., where I'm going down here and just cutting to the center and then coming back up. I watercolored them quite quickly, but I also just did colors that were kind of in this like pink / purple / blue color palette. So you may find that yours are not exactly like mine, and that's because your guys, they're not all exactly the same. Every set is going to be just a little bit different because I hand watercolored those. So just wanted to let you know. All right. So I'm on second to last. I could have sped up this video, but you know what? I know that you guys are doing fussy cutting as well, and time cannot speed up for you, so I won't cheat and speed up time. We're just going to hang out with me while I individually cut every single one of these flowers. That's okay. I enjoy spending time with you guys, so it doesn't even bother me, even though I know you guys cannot, you know, respond back to me. I know that you're on the other side just giggling at my expressive nature here, as I'm like trying to make it exciting while I'm fussy cutting a flower. We're so close to being done. All right, 2 petals left, 2 petals left. Here we go. We're in the home stretch here. Maybe you've been cutting along with me and your speed of fussy cutting is similar to mine. Someone said to me recently, like, you cut so fast, so fast. Sometimes I have to. All right, now that we have finally fussy cut all of those flowers, my goodness, here we go. So, to put our card together here, oh, P.S. on this dark blue suede paper, which I love, I also put those Nuvo glitter drops, and you can feel they're kind of raised up a little bit. Also, the Nuvo glitter drops dry very, very quickly, which is really nice. I think I laid these down, and within maybe 20 minutes they were dry. I mean, I was pretty impressed. So obviously the larger the dot area is, the longer it's going to take to dry. But again, I was pretty impressed about that. Okay, so first thing we're going to do here is on the back side of our suede paper, we are going to put double-sided tape on all 4 sides. You have this piece of metallic ribbon. Okay, you guys, this ribbon is crazy. When you're looking at it, you're like, oh, yep, it's just a paper ribbon. I would just like to encourage you to try to rip it. It's impossible to rip. I don't know what it's made out of, but it is quite cool. And even cooler is that you can actually curl it, which I thought was also really, really fun. So it's a curling ribbon, but also it's just an unusual material. I have no idea, but I was very impressed. So we're actually going to take that piece of ribbon, fold it in half, and we're going to cut it in half because we're going to need a piece for top and bottom of our card. So I'm going to lay this down. I'm exposed probably about half of an inch down from the top, or from the the top, I guess. We're going to bring that around to the front. I'm not adhering it to the front, I'm just bringing it to the back side, and I'm making sure that as I lay that down that it's even amount coming in from the top, so then that way if you look at this you want it to be straight. I'm mentioning that because I did this card twice, and both times my piece here was crooked, so I don't want that to happen to you, and so the best way to do that is to just double check. That way you can lift it up and adjust it as needed. We're going to do the same thing on the bottom, again about ½ inch up. Bring that around to the front and stick it to the back side. Again, before you fully tape that down, just double check that your ribbons are going to be parallel to each other and that they are not totally crooked. Again, that happened to me twice. So once you've done that, then I always put double-sided tape down on top of where that ribbon is, because in those areas, you know, your card is not sticky, or your paper isn't sticky anymore. Now we're going to layer that onto the purple, and that's where the pink and purple and blue tones kind of come in, so it matches really nicely. You could very easily replicate this card in a completely different color palette. The last class we did a black suede with the orange and yellow metallic flowers. It was beautiful! And we used some of that waxed linen thread, and it was absolutely stunning. It was absolutely stunning. Okay, so we're going to lay that down. There's going to be just a sliver, about 16th inch border on all 4 sides of the purple, again, just to give us a nice layering options. And then double-sided tape on the back side of that, on all 4 sides. And you have 2 pieces in here of the speckled Astro Bright Stardust paper. It has a kind of a rainbow speckle. They are both the exact same size, so it doesn't really matter which one you select here. But we're going to lay that. Just going to lay this on here so you can see it from up above because my background is white. I'm going to layer that onto the white, and again, you're going to have just a sliver border, about 16th inch border on all 4 sides. Okay. Now the final thing, we're going to lay down double-sided tape on all 4 sides, and that's going to go on the front of our card. I know most of this card is fussy cutting, and I'm sorry about that, you guys, but I think this is the only fussy cutting of this time around, so at least there's that. Okay, so now we have our little florals. Now remember earlier when I was telling you that I had cut to the center because then I could lift my petals up? So I'm lifting them all up like so, and so that they're all kind of coming in together. This one had a petal that overlapped. I did not cut into that one in case you were wondering, but I'm kind of doing this because I want them to kind of have a little bit of dimension on the card. I definitely going to recommend that you use Nuvo Deluxe adhesive or a white glue versus using your double-sided tape for these. I'm just going to put glue right in the center here, and as I'm laying these down, I'm going to do one up here in the far left corner. And then I think I'm going to lay down my purples. I'm going to do kind of one, again, kind of on this little ribbon here. And the reason why I'm doing that is one, I just like that it's going to kind of balance evenly with our little ribbon piece down here. But 2, it also gives it more dimension. Oh, I'm sorry, friends. You're just going to have to bear with me here for a second. I got to go turn the phone off. Someone has been butt dialing the phone. So anyways, there was all morning it's the same phone that keeps calling me, and so every time I answer it, I'm like, hello, and it's just people laughing in the background, or like little like mushed muffled voices, and oh my gosh, it's driving me crazy. Okay, so sorry if that goes off again during our class, but just wanted to warn you that that's been happening. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my other purple flower down here on the bottom left. I'm going to lay that there. Anyways, what I was saying though is that I like that the little strip of the ribbon there also is not down, so then it kind of also adds to that dimension while also balancing the card. So right now I have my blue in the far left corner, and then I have my two purple. If you did this differently, it doesn't really matter, but I wanted my bouquet of flowers to kind of look kind of like it was not all one color on one part. All right, so now I'm going to lay down my next flower just between those two purple ones, and my last flower I'm going to have down here on the bottom on the left side. Okay, all right. So now for a little sentiment here, we have You Make Me Happy, and it's mostly on the left side, and there's a lot more space on the right side. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go from my corner down to the middle, and then from the corner to the middle. Okay. And that will give us a cute little chevron. Now for the inside of the card, you can do a kind of a chevron again. That would be kind of fun. If you're wanting something a little different, you can actually take that little triangle and you can actually match it up on the end. And I know that that's really hard to see, but hopefully you guys can at least kind of see it. I have it kind of, the arrow pointing this way, right? And I'm holding that in place there and using that as a little guide, and I'm going to trim it here and here. Now I will tell you, when I originally made this card, I actually did tuck this inside, but I kind of liked the idea of having a little something on the inside, so that's why I changed it up a little bit. All right, I'm going to put double-sided tape right down the middle of that, and then I'm going to stick the You Make Me Happy right here on the right side, and so I have the little chevron that's kind of peekabooing, but also this is sitting only on that ribbon, so it's actually creating even more dimension, which is really nice. I'm going to wrap this to the inside of the card, and then I have just a little thing right here. You could add another little sentiment onto there if you wanted to. Oh, thank you so much, Mark.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
Thanks.
All right. So then on the inside, on the right-hand side, we have our other little sheet of paper here, double-sided tape on all four sides. And then we're going to take that little guy and we're just going to sit that on the inside. Again, there's going to be just a sliver 16-inch border on all three sides, and then the left is open. All right. So again, you can stamp like a little sentiment, or you can put little hearts, or you can just leave that totally blank if you wanted to. But I just thought that was really sweet. So there we have our first card. You Make Me Happy. Isn't that so cute? I just loved it. Oh, but the other thing that is so cool about this card is that even though it has this dimension, because we just pulled it up, we didn't actually glue it up or put in dimensional dots, it actually does sit totally flat to go into your envelope. But when someone takes it out, it will of course have that dimension. So I just thought that was really fun. So great way to create dimension without creating extra postage. All right, on to the next card.